Hi folks, I'm going to let you in for a little secret. This is one of the jobs that I quite enjoy. A lot of people moan about grouting, but I kind of find it quite therapeutic. So stick around and we'll make a start. Now the very first part of the grouting stage is something that takes a lot of experience and something that I've only just about mastered, and that is stealing the vacuum cleaner from the house. That was pretty close. We'll have to make sure it goes back in exactly the same position with no evidence of DIY tasks in here. Right, let's give it a good sweep out, and then we can make sure all of our grout lines are free, ready to be filled. Now, if you have been a little bit over the top with your adhesive or you pushed them in too hard, then sometimes it comes out and you get a bit of squeeze out. So you want to make sure that all of that is set back at least a couple of mil from the front of the bevel or the tile, and that all of those annoying plasticky waxy bits that they put on to stop them scratching in the packaging, you've tediously scraped off. And I mean, these are pretty robust, this glazing, so they don't tend to scratch, but you don't want to go scratching your expensive Italian marble, so you use something plastic, he says, as he uses an old metal scraper. And then the last bit is just to use some more supplies pilfered from the house, just some kitchen roll or something that's not going to leave fluff over, and make sure it's all dry and we haven't left anything on there. I mean, they don't have to be spotless, but anything loose you want to get off. Right, lunchtime done. Let's get back into the zone. Next up, we're ready to mix the grout. Now the grout I'm using is this one. It's BAL, and it will BAL, BAL. Gunmetal grey. Now this is the same colour I used on the same tiles up in the top bathroom, and we love it. It looks great. Now many people just assume because you've got white tiles you need white grout, and while you could do that, and it's down to personal preference, by going with the grey, this subtle light grey, it's a nicer look. It's a little bit more contrast, but not too much. It's not like we're going with the dark grey. The problem is, if you try and go with white, one, it's harder to keep perfectly clean, but also the white is never going to be exactly the same white, so it's always going to look a little bit different anyway, so you're better off just going with it, making a feature of it. And I think the mid ground of going with the light grey works really well. Anyway, enough chat, let's get mixed up. Be sure you can use a powered whisk or some sort of contraption, but in the past all I've used is a stainless steel bowl, just simply because it's really easy to clean, because remember this grout does stick to everything. And then I actually use one of these silicone spatulas because it's really easy and a good way to stir it up. But you know, pick your own method, and just like when you're mixing plaster, you're always adding to the water.
Can help us? Why have you got flour in your hand?
It's not flour. It's tile grout. What do you think of my tiling? What do you think of the tiling? Do you like it?
Yeah.
I have no idea if that's too much. Probably is. And you've only got about 20 minutes to work with this stuff, so we'll have to get our foot down. Right, I've got a horrible feeling we've mixed up about 3 times more than we need, and we're not going to be able to get it on in time. Sponge, and I've got my old tile float, which is soft and rubber. Mine's gone a little bit hard because it's a bit old, but it's still soft enough on the corners to help us get it in. These are a bit more of a pain when you're grouting because of the beveled edges, but we'll get into a rhythm, I'm sure. Okay, as they say, pressure's a bit on now. I think I've mixed up a little bit too much, but we should be able to get it on in time. You really want to get it forced in to the grooves in a couple of passes, and then you know it's all the way back in each gap. We are running out of time. I got into a little bit of panic. I was having flashbacks to the concrete. But we're okay. I think we can just about pull it back. That wall there I've just wiped off, and I'm just sponging it off. And now I'm using up the last bit of our mix. We're not going to be quite there.
Daddy,
Yeah.
I just need to sit down for a second. I need.
Sit down? You can't sit down. You're the camera lady.
Sorry, but if you can sit down and do camera.
Can you?
Yeah. Sit down. Ooh, ooh.
I say that's lazy.
It isn't lazy, Daddy. Daddy, you know.
I don't get to sit down doing this, do I? My coffee's gone cold over there. Right.
Then drink it.
I can't. Okay.
Is it cold?
My coffee was cold, yeah. Can't say I'm that proud of myself for this pantomime. I just about saved it. It was touch and go for a minute. Down the other end was my least priority. I really wanted to get this as good as it could be, but still we're at a stage now where it's gone beyond any major finesse. But basically the grout lines end up too thick in places. Too wide, so they're not consistent all the way, so you have to go along and then just work it back. If you were doing it leisurely and paced, like I intended to, you get your grout on, you kind of strike it off so it's nicely in there flush, and then you just go over with a clean sponge and just wipe off the excess. I normally do it on a bit of a diagonal, and that kind of just helps smooth all the joins. If you let it go too far, like we did, like I did, down this end, then what you end up with is a thicker line, and you really need to start kind of pulling it out. And the idea is not to introduce too much water into the grout, or none at all. You're just kind of cleaning up. But you know, if this one did have a more abrasive side, so I could just work it out just to clean it up and then wipe it away. But it was pretty full on.
Okay.
What did I say at the beginning of the video? This is one of the jobs that I quite enjoy. I kind of find it quite therapeutic. I certainly could have done a better job if I'd not been so greedy to get all that mix up in one hit. I haven't got any grout going into that corner. There's a little bit just from as I pushed it around, but the idea is that that is all silicone in that corner, whether it's a colour matched silicone to the grout or whether it's just white. What do you think of the tiling now?
Good.
Is it better?
Yeah.
And that's it for now. We pulled it back in the end. What I'm going to do now is leave it for a few hours or even overnight, and then I'll come back in once everything's dry with a clean sponge, clean water, and we'll get rid of all that haze. So when this dries on here now, we'll end up with like a hazy film over all the tiles. So we'll clean all that back up, and then I may come in and seal the grouting as well, and then we can look at siliconing all the joints. I need a beer. Better go and clean that mixing bowl now. Sealed and ready for our shower to go in. So stick around and we'll get stuck in. Sticky, sticky, stick, stick.